to take a look at the role of big toe extension when we run, and it's worth noting that this whole system works together. So the foot and ankle works with the knee, which works with the hip. So if we just take a look at this runner, as he's coming through, let's start on the other side, and he's just about to touch the ground on both sides. So what we're looking at is he's preloading his foot and ankle, and when he hits the ground, he's going to have a nice stable foot. That's why the foot turns in when we run, and that gives you a rigid foot to land on. As we go through the gait cycle, we go to a flat-footed or pronated position, which is for shock absorption, adapting to their terrain. But really what we want to focus on in this article is push-off. So as his heel lifts up off the ground and we watch him come towards push-off, what we see is big toe extension. So his toes on the ground here, his foot is plantar flexed, and that's giving him the ability to do a couple things. And this is something, there's other things going on with this runner, but this is something that we can look at initially to describe and show you what abnormal would look like. As this big toe extends, let's see if we can zoom in on it a little bit. I know it's a little blurry because he's moving, but as this big toe extends, what it does is it loads the plantar fascia. Your plantar fascia comes off your heel, wraps around, and goes to your big toe. As this big toe goes through extension and the plantar fascia loads, really what it's called is it's the windlass mechanism, where it's going to be drawing the foot together and stabilizing the foot for push-off. But what happens when we don't have big toe extension is that doesn't happen. We don't get preload, and we don't get this tautness through our plantar fascia. And it's really just looking at the big toe extension through here, and that's what we want to be able to see. When that doesn't happen, we see alterations in gait, excessive knee load, hip load, or just skirting it and changing and compensating so we don't have to worry about it. So we can see on the other side, you can see how he's pushing off through the first and second toe, and that's right where we want to push off is first and second toe. What we see with people who try to get around big toe, lacking big toe extension, is they'll start pushing off through the lateral toes, which is more of a flexible part of your foot. It's not built for stability and push off, and we start skirting what we're trying to eventually accomplish. So let me show you another example of a runner who is lacking big toe extension on one side. So now we're watching a runner who is going to be lacking some big toe extension on really both sides, but we'll just focus on one. You're going to see how this affects the whole chain. In the article we wrote on RunSmartOnline.com, we talk about a couple different reactions, which is changing in the foot, changing in the knee position, and decreased hip extension. But really what we're going to see with this runner is it's happening at all three levels, and it's always usually a combination of everything. So just like the previous runner, we're going to see him load as he comes towards push-off. So he's hitting the ground, he's going to go through that loading phase, and then as he comes towards push-off, we expect his foot, and let's just look at the barefoot view, we expect his foot to come through loading and be able to push off through the first and second toe. But what we're going to see is that as he comes towards push-off, look at how his heel cranks inward. So if we were to come in and look at this, just the midlines here, you can see how his toe turns in a ton and cranks inwards because he's not going to be able to get his extension through his big toe. We look at the side view, you can see almost as he comes towards push-off, there is no big toe extension down here. So we come from, we just take it from here, and this is just a vague representation. You can actually see an example of this on the article with a picture. He's not getting any big toe extension, and what's happening because of that? He's turning his foot in to compensate, so now he's losing his stability at push-off because he's pushing off through the first and second, or the second, third, fourth toes on the outside of his foot. But now we look at a couple other things. You can see that he's not getting full knee extension. So if we were to take a line from his hip to his ankle, you can see that his knee is not in a line there, so he's not able to lock out his knee at push-off. So he's going to be putting more strain on his knee because his knee is bent, and he's not going through full excursion of his knee to drive into the ground. He's short-changing it. We also look at just midline. If we drop a plumb line down of his center, you can see how he's not really deviating and getting hip extension. So we'll just kind of come down here and look here. Only 20 degrees of hip extension, his knee is bent, and really that's happening because he's not able to drag this foot through to get back here with good toe extension where he can extend his whole leg. And that's just a problem with mobility at the big toe. It can be from osteoarthritis, it could be from a bunionectomy or a bunion surgery, a foot surgery, or it could just be that you're tight in the plantar fascia and it's check reining, it's slowing things down. So take a look at the article at RunSmartOnline.com, and it'll show you an easy way to self-assess this to work on the stretch. You can find that article right in the show notes. Are you looking to become a stronger, faster, and more well-rounded runner? Then jump on over to RunSmartOnline.com and take our 10-day free challenge. Try our run-specific, time-saving, and easy-access videos that let you get stronger from anywhere, whether it be at work, home, or on the road.